more about registering your assets and putting them in different modes of registering them. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, I need just one more person. One more person to go. Or you want me to call on? Please, I need one more person to at least share what is or take home from the last class. Okay, Mr. Victor.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Victor.
Yeah, my take home for last class was talking about the life cycle of a building, like building management's life cycle. Like though what I heard from you is quite different and makes a lot of sense. Talking about the birth, like the birth of the asset, of the building of the asset, and also the operation and maintenance structure, and also the D part, like the disposal, or maybe you want to sell it out. So that's my main take home.
Oh, thank you very much. We've all learned at least one or two things from the last class. So today we'll be concentrating completely on facility condition assessment. Without much ado, so we may not be able to do facilitators introduction because we have done almost all these in the last class. So today, at the end of this module, it is expected that everybody understand the meaning of facility condition assessment, the purpose of carrying out facility condition assessment, the scope that it takes in doing condition assessment, the processes, the level of facility condition assessment, then facility performance evaluation. Difference between performance evaluation and condition assessment. Then how can we design facility condition assessment format when we needed to carry out a condition assessment? So we have like 5 areas, or like let me say like 9 areas we'll be touching in terms of the course content. We're going to do introduction to FCA, purpose of FCA, scope, condition assessment, documentation and review, meaning of performance evaluation, how can you conduct a meaningful performance evaluation, then what are the benefits of performance evaluation. So a condition assessment is just like you needed to take a 2-bedroom apartment. The very first thing you do is for you to take a visit to the location, do the interior assessment and the exterior assessment, and possibly environmental assessment of the area. And there is a very funny joke in Lagos State that the best time to rent an apartment in Lagos State is during the rainy season. So what this is trying to tell you invariably is that with rainy season, you'll be able to assess if the house is having a lot of roof system leakages. So in terms of introduction, FCA is the process of inspecting. Let's take note of those words in red. The process of inspecting each system. Last week when we were doing condition, when we were doing asset management, we said a lot about the building system. And I said there are structural and there are non-structural building systems. When you are talking about the structural, you're talking about the building envelope system, the foundation system, the roofing system, and all those stuff. Then when you're talking about the non-structural, you're talking about the electrical system, mechanical system, communication system, transportation system. These are all non-structural. So when you hear the word system, you know what it encompasses in a building. So condition assessment is the process of inspecting each system in a building to understand its condition. We have three items to understand here. We have to inspect, we need to understand, and what exactly do we need to understand when we carry out inspection is the condition of that facility, of that asset. So, and when we want to check on the condition, what are those things we try to deduce from our inspection? Deficiencies. What are those things that are currently happening in terms of condition to that asset that is not supposed to be? What is the current condition that is not acceptable? What is the current condition that is not useful to our operations? So then we use condition assessment to determine the useful life of an asset or a facility, and also to calculate what we refer to as facility condition index. And don't forget, the last class when we're talking about asset manager, we said something that asset management is not a unilateral kind of work ethics. Is a multidisciplinary in the sense that it's being carried out by at least more than two departments. And in terms of condition assessment as well, condition assessment is a multidisciplinary review of various systems of the facility. And why is it multidisciplinary? When you are carrying out your condition assessment, just like the initial example that I gave, that you needed to rent a two-bedroom apartment, and the first thing you needed to do is for you to carry out condition assessment of that apartment. And don't forget, when you are doing that assessment, most of the time it has to include you, your wife, the estate agent, and possibly maybe the landlord or whoever happens to be the representative of the landlord, so that you can itemize what you want and what you don't want. You needed this to be put in place before you pay for the rent. This is a very good example of condition assessment. It is a multidisciplinary review of the various system of the building. It's most of the time it includes the facility manager, the MEP engineer, the QS, the architect, the structural engineer. Then you talk about roof expert, scaffolding expert. It could as well include swimming pool expert as well. Because what you're actually trying to do is for you to know what are the structural deficiencies in the building. It also is the process to provide recommendation regarding the root cause of deterioration of failure. And when the assessment is being done and you discover a lot of discrepancies and a lot of deficiencies, you try as much as possible to use the expertise of the expert that works alongside with you to know what actually is causing that deficiency and how can that be resolved so that the building is being restored back to its original design. To provide a remedial action plan. Remedial action plans mean you'll be able to decide which of those deficiencies you need to give top priority to, and which one can you defer for a certain period of time when you are going to have the financial capacity to get that done. And also to produce capital replacement plans. And in a scenario whereby you have to do an outright replacement when revamp or upgrading is completely out of it and you need to do a complete replacement. Then with condition assessment, you'll be able to justify or decide if you have the financial capacity to fund that capital expenditure as at that period in time. Then it also helps you to design. You know, we said something like this when we were discussing asset management during the last class, that this can also help you to formulate your maintenance strategy, because with this, you know what are the conditions of the assets you have at your disposal and what are the kind of preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, predictive maintenance, and proactive maintenance activity you need to put in place in getting these operational. So building system, what is building system? Building system can be defined as an assembly of interrelated, interdependent, part forming part, forming a complex and unified whole and serving a common purpose. For instance, a 3-bedroom flat. The complete building envelope depends on the foundation, because you can't construct a building envelope or like building walls without that building wall standing on the foundation. That's why they say interdependent. They're interrelated, working with what? With each other. That's what makes up a building system. You can't have a building that is completely exposed to the sky. You need a roof on top of it. So building system can be structural, can be non-structural. Structural are foundation system, the foundation structures, floor system, roofing system, wall and column. Then non-structural are HVAC, electrical system, transportation, mechanical, security and communication system. These are all non-structural. So what are the benefits? What do you stand to gain when you conduct a condition assessment? Then it helps you to determine a short-term financial need. You have the list of items or things that needed to be attended to in the facility. Then you can now prioritize them. Then you can now base them based on your financial capacity at that time. Okay, I have the money to replace the floor tiles. I have the money to replace some lighting fittings. I have the money to do some minor painting work. For the complete replacement of the roof, this is becoming a capital expenditure, and I have to wait on whether I have the capital or financial capacity to fund that capital need. Then competitive need. At times, in a scenario whereby we are into real estate or you are into lettable space or like all these malls where you have inflow of tenants coming to rent apartments, at times when you discover that people are going to other locations that are closer to you without coming to your own facility, you can conduct a facility condition assessment to ascertain fair deal. So it's not that you are just buying blindly. You have rated the facility, you have rated the property based on its current condition and what it was in the market. Then with your FCA, it helps you to unfold all maintenance needs so buyer can plan necessary upgrading action based on priority. Then with your condition assessment, you know what are all the maintenance challenges that are associated with that facility or with that property. And with this in place, it is easier for you to draw your action plan and to draw up your maintenance plan and what will you be needing to get the facility to its what standard condition. Then with your FCA thoroughly conducted, you as a buyer can evaluate the potential return on investment that, okay, if I have to put my money on this particular property, at least within the scope of so number of years, I can easily recoup back my money before I can start talking about revamp, before I can start talking about upgrading, before I can start talking about complete breaking the building down and reconstructing the building. So you know what are the value of return you'll be getting from your investment if you have to put your money into that kind of property. And with your facility condition assessment, it is easier for you to draw up necessary estimated costs required in bringing the facility or property to a desired standard, allowing buyer to budget for renovation and future maintenance. So when you do your condition assessment, it is easier for you to be able to budget a certain amount of money. You can easily forecast that, okay, if I have to put this facility to my standard, to my taste, if I have to bring this building back to my state, if I have to revamp this asset to my taste, if I have to bring this asset to its expected working condition, these are the amount of money that I have to spend. You can easily forecast after you have carried out your condition assessment. And other benefit of condition assessment is that if you can use condition assessment to design your asset register, which is part of what we discussed in last class when we were discussing asset management, then you can prepare necessary engineering specification in terms of this is the length of the building, this is the breadth of the building, the floor is made of 55 tiles, the size of the tiles is 600 by 600, the size of the tiles is 120 by 1200 by 1200, the wall is screeded, or the wall is having a glossy paint, the wall is having wall mat, the roof, the ceiling is POP ceiling, or the ceiling is 2x2 ceiling tiles, or the ceiling is 3x3. You can easily put on all the engineering specification when you do your assessment. Then it also helps you to record existing condition of the components. So you are able to pen down what are the conditions of every asset within that facility. Then it also helps you to determine the remaining useful life of the component. So with all those assets thoroughly examined, you can determine, okay, this chair cannot be useful in the next 2 years. So you already know that in the next 2 years, you have to replace that chair. Then to prepare cost estimate related to maintenance, repair, rehabilitation, or renewal of the system, you can easily prepare your cost. You can easily factor out all the costs that will require you to get that system back to the desired state. And also to prioritize the components that are actually meant for maintenance, repair, or renewal. So with your assessment, you can do your summary in 3 scales: top priority, medium priority, and low priority. Those one with top priority are more or less like the one you are going to attend to first, based on your financial capacity. Let's not forget, because everything that you will have to do involves nothing but money. Then to compare the cost of system and component remediation versus cost of facility replacement. So you can juxtapose, you can decide if you have to repair, or you have to upgrade, or you want to go for outright replacement. And what will help you to decide this is when you assign cost to every activity that needed to be carried out after you have conducted your condition assessment. And when you assign cost to them, you're able to like factor. When you have already factored cost, you're able to like weigh, if I'm going to repair, it's going to cost me 10,000. If I'm going to buy a new one, it's going to cost me 13,000 naira. So you know that if you're comparing 13 to 10, it is of economic importance for you to go for 13,000 naira and dispose of 10,000 naira instead of spending maintenance cost on a continuous sale on that item. Then, what is the financial and strategic benefit that you gain when you conduct condition assessment? One of the financial advantage is that you have access to an improved facility data, because these are data that are carried, these are data that you are able to pull out from your condition assessment. They are data that can be defended. They are data that are actual. They are data that are factual. It's not that you just forecasted the data. No. It's a real-time data. It is the actual data. It is what the facility is saying in terms of data as per that period in time. Then, also part of the strategic benefit is you are able to define the problem, every associated problem that is related with that facility, in terms of foundation, in terms of transportation system, like your transportation system, which includes your walkway, your lift, your elevators, your staircase. These are all your transportation systems. What are the associated problems with those systems? Then you are also financially, you are also able to gather defensible data. Defensible data is that you did not just formulate those data. These are real-time data from a comprehensive assessment. Then it also helps you to streamline. It also helps you to streamline facility management and improvement facility condition. How do you do this? These are part of strategic benefits. You are able to like segregate or activity-wise, you place everything you needed to do within that facility in terms of activity-wise. So with that, you are able to know how you are going to manage resources that is at your disposal. Then strategically, it also allows facility personnel to better plan, manage, and direct work order. Then with those assessments and having in mind what you are actually going to meet, what you are actually going to be dealing with in terms of the associated problem with the facility, you can plan your resources at hand, you can plan your financial at hand, you can manage your people at hand so that you can achieve a lot with little resources that you have at your disposal. Then you can prioritize, which is part of strategic benefits, short-term planning issue. So short-term planning means these are the list of items that need to attend to in the next 1 week. These are the list of items that need to attend to in the next 1 month. These are what I needed to attend to in the next 1 quarter. So you'll be able to plan everything in line with your manpower, in line with your resources at hand, in line with your financial capacity, and in line with top priorities. These are what you start to gain when you conduct your condition assessment. So what are those elements of a facility where you conduct condition assessment? You're talking about building interior elements. And what are those your building interior elements? Your table, your chairs, your floor, your electrical low voltage system. These are all your building interior. Then the stable site development and amenity, your pavement, your entrance, your walkways. Then document review in terms of your architectural drawing, your as-built drawing. You review all these. Then fire protection system. These are areas where you carry out your condition assessment as well. Then mechanical, electrical, and plumbing system that we also refer to as MIE. So the best name for it is MEP, not M and E. So the best name for it is MEP. That is mechanical. That is mechanical.
Please, can you share your screen, sir?
Plumbing. Then structure. This might require you to get a structural engineer to come and carry out this for you. Structure, foundation, and exterior wall. And that's why you see, when you see a building that's having a structural deficiency, you notice that some part of the foundation is having an opening, and that opening is extending to the building envelope as well. Or possibly, when you pass in that facility, you see that the window level is just like maybe, let's say, 500 centimeters from the floor level. Then along the line, let's say, like 6 months down the line, the window level is almost getting closer to the what? To the floor level. This is what? This is structural deficiency that can happen within a facility. Then preliminary review and on-site observation. You need to visit the site. You need to get to the site to see exactly what is actually happening. Then in terms of production facility-wise, or when you are working in all this oil and gas, or you find yourself in all these SCMG, like all this Nigerian beauty, like Dangote Cement, you check your production assets, your production processes, your packaging processes, your production equipment. These are all because the availability of all these assets determines your production capacity, and your production capacity is what will determine your revenue inflow. Your revenue inflow will justify your customer satisfaction, and at the same time, it will determine your profitability as well. So why do you need to conduct a facility condition assessment? The best and quality time to assess a property for condition assessment are 1, before taking over the facility for third-party maintenance or before video acquisition. If your company happens to be a facility management company that handles maintenance and operation of the facility on behalf of a condition assessment, Show techniques you need to conduct assessment. Is to be carried out in the facility. You need to conduct condition assessment. Is to be what is to be initiated before a comprehensive or minor renovation is carried out. Then after a significant or major incident like fire incident, flood, riot that led to major property damage or strong storm. When any of this happen, you need to carry out what we call a condition assessment to know the impact of that disaster, so that you know how you are going to get that rectified and mitigate against future occurrence of it. Then disaster preparedness with condition assessment, associated cost of reinforcing the facility against impending disaster can be determined. For instance, let's assume that Nigerian neurology provides some information that there's going to be a storm, and they give the gravity of that storm, and you know that your facility is not reinforced to that extent. With this, you can carry out an assessment to see if that storm of that magnitude occur, can your facility stand it? If the answer is no, you need to find a means of getting that facility upgraded and reinforced against that impending disaster. Or possibly, you know that if a fire outbreak occurs within your facility, the impact could be disastrous. The risk assessment that have been carried out is showing a level 1 risk. Then you know that you need to put all the necessary safety measure in place. You could do a sensor type safety measure. You could do an analog safety measure that will trigger if the disaster is about to happen, so that even if at all you cannot eliminate this disaster, you can reduce it to the barest minimum. So what is the purpose? What is the purpose of conducting a facility condition? What do you stand to gain? To what purpose do you need to conduct a facility condition assessment? One, the purpose of this is to establish a current repair cost. With your condition assessment, it is easier for you to calculate, to itemize. It is easier for you to itemize, assign cost, and calculate what will be the repair cost in getting that facility to your required standard or the required standard of the property owner. Though this is done by evaluating the cost of the deficiency, establishing the current repair cost of correcting the deficiency, what cost, what amount, what is the money you need to put in place to get that deficiencies rectified. Then creating a prioritized list of repair. You might have up to 20, 30, or 40 itemized repair that needed to be carried out. Then you can prioritize them based on this. You can prioritize the first 10 at top priority. Just like I said, when you summarize it, you can have the top priority, medium priority, or the low cadre priority. Establishing a budget that will be successful in controlling the cost while most critical deficiencies are being resolved. So with this, you can easily assign costs. When you assign costs, you budget how much it will cost you to get this done. Once you budget how much it will cost you to get this done, then you can now do them in phase-wise manner. Attend to one this week, attend to another one next week, before you get everything phased out. Then your purpose of conducting your condition assessment is also for you to determine what we refer to as facility condition index. You use facility condition index to decide if you are to go for an abstract replacement of an asset or a facility, or you can do what is called upgrading or repair. facility condition index is a very important key metric in facility management. It is used to quantify a facility's physical condition at a specific point in time. And how do you calculate your condition assessment? Your facility condition assessment index is calculated using the total system repair or maintenance cost divided by the current replacement value. Let me give you a scenario. For instance, we have a 2000 kVA generator, and the current value of that brand new current value in the market is 10 million naira. And when we conduct assessment, this generator has not been the one in the facility we are assessing. This generator has not been operational for the past 1 year. And when it is assessed, the assessment indicated that we needed to change the radiator, we need to change the piston and rings, we need to change the fuel pump, the injector pump, and all those itemized. And by the time you started doing the calculation, the cost is coming to around 8.5, 8.9 million naira. And the current replacement value in the market is 10 million naira. With this, it is of vital economic importance for you to go for an actual replacement. So when you do your condition index and you have, let's see an example here. A physical asset has a total repair and maintenance cost of 1 million naira. And the current replacement cost is 3 million naira. Please, there is an error here, which we are going to correct. Please, that 1 million naira is not 1 million naira, it's 10 million naira. Please, kindly correct it. It's 10 million naira, not 1 million naira. And the cost of repair is 3 million naira. What is the facility condition index? You can see facility condition index from this formula says total maintenance or repair cost divided by the current replacement value. So you can see what we have here is 3 million divided by 10 million. So what we have is 0.3. 0.3 multiplied by 100, that gives us 3%. And coming to this point, let's look at it. When you have your FCI to be between 0 and 2%, you are excellent. That means your facility, your asset is excellent. When you have it between 2 and 5%, that means your facility or your asset is good. And when you have it between 5 and 10, it's fair enough. Between 10 and above, that facility or that asset is becoming poor. It's getting to a poorest state. So good is 0 to 5, and fair is 5 to 10, poor is 10 to 30, and critical is greater than 30. Once you do your condition assessment and what you are getting is greater than 30%, it is of economic advantage to decommission, dispose that particular asset and get it replaced with a new one. So your facility condition index can help in several ways. One, it can help you to compare the condition of one facility to a group of facilities. Then it also helps you to track trend, that is the extent of improvement or deterioration over a period of time. It also helps you to prioritize capital improvement projects. And also, it helps you in making renovation versus replacement decision as far as facility management is concerned. So one of the other purpose of your facility condition assessment is it helps you to forecast future costs. Understanding, when you have an understanding of the deficiency within the facility, Understanding future deficiency is just as important as calculating the building current condition. Forecast cost by breaking building into its individual components. So what this is trying to say is you make the building activity-wise. You assign the door and you assign cost of building, bringing your taste to it. You assign the wall, you assign cost, assess each of the chairs, assign cost, assess table, assign cost, assess your fan, assign cost, television, assign cost, your lighting system, put cost to them. So this is individual component wise rather than doing it in a system wide. Establish both short and long-term budgets. Short term are more or less like operation expenditures, and long term are more or less like capital expenditure. What are those things that is going to be capitally intensive that you can defer for a period of time? Calculating the forecast cost based on their representative portion of the building total replacement value. What it's actually trying to tell you is that when you do your assessment into activity based, the floor, this amount you are spending, the wall, this amount you are spending, for plumbing, this amount you are spending, you assign cost to them, add all these costs together, this becomes the total cost of upgrading that facility. So with this, you can easily forecast by and large, this is how much it's going to cost me to bring the facility to a what? A standard. Then, one of the purpose is to determine how to maintain building data. Forecast current and historical data from previous assessments. An assessment has been carried out, and when you do your own assessment, you compare between the last assessment and the current assessment to see if there is deterioration or there is improvement or what are those things you can sustain within that facility. Include in a current set of physical, typical deficiency and the best correction for them. Then, one of the purpose of doing this is making an informed decision. You can easily make an informed decision because the decision you are actually taking are not just ordinary decisions. These are decisions born out of reality. These are decisions born out of data. These are decisions born out of what is the current condition of that particular facility. Then it also helps you. One of the purpose is for you to allocate your resources. In terms of manpower, you can allocate your resources. In terms of revenue, you can finance, you can allocate your resources. In terms of spare part availability, you can allocate your resources. And in terms of assessment, you know where you can put your resources that is going to yield return for you as at that period in time. So it also helps you to determine, in order to determine the estimate for the investment cost. One, effective condition assessment leads to decision taking for facility capital reinvestment and necessary return on investment. When you do your condition assessment, you know when that property, that facility, that asset will start to yield money, will start to generate money for you. It also helps in determining the appropriate cost that you will need to incur, including material, labor, equipment that are necessary, and additional expenses that you needed to use that are associated to carrying out necessary repair and rectification of deficiency within that facility. It also helps you to compare the estimated cost into the building budget plan with consideration of what is your available financial resources, what is the funding cycle, or what is that thing that require urgency in terms of providing what finance for them at that period in time. Then another purpose of your condition assessment is it helps you to discover the current building deficiency. So you document all the deficiency, what are the defects, what are the safety hazards, what are the maintenance needed to be done in order to during the evaluation of the process. Then also you can easily benchmarking of the building current performance. So you can benchmark what is the performance of your current building in terms of FCI compared to other facilities that is of the same standard like your own facility. Then with this, it's easier for you to juxtapose or to decide when upgrading is necessary. Evaluate each system. We already know what the system of a building is and component against established standards in the industry or best practices, or what is the regulatory requirement, and to determine its condition, functionality, and overall performance. This helps you. What are the Lagos State, or what is Abuja Environmental Building Code? What is Lagos State Building Code? What is Osun State Government Building Code? So you want to make sure your facility is in tune, is in line with all these building code in order to avoid penalty. So what are the scope of facility condition assessment? One of the first scope is facility condition assessment require a site inspection. You have to be on site. Then the second is you have to review all building documents. And what are those building documents? As build drawing, building records, construction documents, building codes, and violation the maintenance records. So with maintenance records, you'll be able to determine if there are any deferred maintenance by initial facility management company that will be maintaining that facility before you come in. Then let me also explain to us the difference between an as-built drawing and architectural drawing. You get your architectural drawing before the commencement of a project, but you get your as-built drawing after the completion of the project. Your as-built drawing tells you, it expatiates if there are changes in the initial architectural drawing during the construction stage of that property. And that's why you see building that does not have as-built drawing, when you're having blockage issue or leakage issue, you have to start breaking every now and then walls before you can get to know where that leakage is actually coming from. Then with your condition assessment, it's easier for you to produce what is referred to as detailed list of remedial work. When you did the assessment work, what are those work that needed to be carried out before a final takeover will take place? And most of the time, the third party, the property owner can require the third party agent or the third party facility management company to go ahead, get all this remedial work while they remove, while he pay them. Or he will inform them that he's going to get his team of engineers to get that done. His team of engineers will do it. The facility management company will come again for the assessment. When they are okay with it, then they can sign off the agreement. Then they can start maintaining that facility on behalf of the property owner. Remedial work production refers to the process of undertaking repair to restore or improve a building system or facility that has suffered from what defect, damage, deterioration over time. These lists are often generated during facility condition assessment, or you can as well generate it during project delivery period. And when you generate this list during project delivery period, you refer to it as snag list. Remedial work can arise as a result of poor workmanship, as a result of natural wear and tear, as a result of environmental impact, or emergence of latent defects. Latent defects are hidden deficiency, hidden failure, hidden water leakages, hidden electrical issues that are not obvious. It's just like you have a water leakage within the wall. The water leakage will not be obvious right from the first day. It might be up to 1 week or 2 weeks before you start seeing traces of a wet wall. This is where your condition assessment can as well help. Production of detailed list of schedule of dilapidation. This mostly occur in a system where you provide an apartment for lease where somebody come around to come and lease your property for a certain period of time. The schedule of dilapidation is you do assessment to know what is the structure of the building. Where are the walls? What type of tiles was used? What type of lighting fitting are used? And the reason why you do is that the lessee may need to remodify the lettable area according to its usage. And it is expected of the lessee to ensure that when his tenancy period expires, he needs to restore that property back to its original state before the rental takes place. And this is where the schedule of dilapidation comes in. And when it is 18 months to the expiration of the lease period, you have to conduct another assessment again so that you send out as a reminder to the lessee, notify him that there is need for him to return the property back to its original state before it was rented to him. And that's why this mostly occurs in banks, because banks need to remodify the building in line to meet up with their standard of operation. And by the time they are leaving, they may not have the time factor to return the building back to the original state. So in doing this, they do what is called buyback. They pay a certain amount of money to the property owner as a time, which stands as a buyback, so that when they want to pull out, they can easily pull out. It is now the responsibility of the property owner to now return his building back to its original shape before the bank comes in. So a schedule of dilapidation is a description of any defect present in a building. It lists the problem with the maintenance of the building. A schedule of dilapidation is prepared after a completion of a condition survey. Then another purpose of your condition assessment is that it helps you to plan energy efficient system as cost saving opportunity. When you conduct your assessment, you notice that the front is let's take an 8-story building for an instance. When you do your assessment, you discover that the front side of the building is exposed to a sunlight. When sun rises in the morning, it focuses on that part until sun sets in the evening. That part is always illuminated. You can decide to have a solar panel there. Put a solar panel there. Use that solar panel to power, even if it is just only your common area lighting. Or you assess the facility and the building is a warehouse. And the kind of roofing system they have is an asbestos. And asbestos is becoming an environmental violation because asbestos is carcinogenic. It can cause cancer. So, you don't want environmental impact. You don't want environmental body to come and sanction you. You can remove all this asbestos and put all these plastic roofs that are transparent. Putting all these plastic roofs that are transparent gets you illuminate the whole entire warehouse without having a single bulb. So during the day, the complete warehouse is fully illuminated without a single electrical bulb. In doing that, one, you're saving costs. Two, you have reduced environmental impact. Then three, you have saved costs in terms of energy. Or after the condition assessment, you discover that the type of lighting system that you're having there are only this fluorescent fitting. I'm not talking about CFL. I'm talking about the fluorescent tubes. You can decide that instead of using fluorescent tubes, let's start using LEDs, and LEDs with higher lumen and lower power consumption. These are part of the purpose of conducting your facility condition assessment. Then another purpose is these are another purpose means of or scope of facility condition assessment. Another scope of facility condition assessment is evaluation of current condition of the asset. This is 555. We're going to quickly observe a 5 minutes recess. We'll come back by 6 o'clock to continue from where we stop. So we're going to have 5 minutes recess, I will converge again by 6 o'clock. So 5 minutes start from now. Thank you. Hello? Are we back?
Yep, we are back. We are back.
Okay.
We are back.
Calculation of current condition of the asset. So one of the scope of facility condition assessment is to evaluate the current condition of the asset. Evaluating the effective age of the asset with your condition assessment, you are easy to know what is the expected age of that asset, estimating.
So the now is breaker that took us. That is the breaker that has something that is flipping off the main breaker cell. Then I put it on. So still that is so
forecast of future life cycle renewal of the asset as they reach the end of their useful life service. Then it also helps you to provide a benchmark of the current performance of the building. These are all scope of performing condition assessment. So there also part of the scope is developing cost for remedial work, an estimation of cost to correct the backlog of deferred maintenance to arrive at a defensible estimate of the cost. Identification of areas.
We can't hear you, sir.
We can't hear you, sir.
We can't hear you as well.
We can't hear you, sir.
What about now?
Better now.
I can hear you now.
Okay,
Loud
thank
and
you.
clear.
Thank you very much. A facility condition is a comprehensive planning tool used to determine the physical condition and functional performance of a facility. Like as mentioned earlier, it is a multidisciplinary activity that involves an architect, a QS, a structural engineer, mechanical, electrical and plumbing engineer, safety team, expert and professional in certain fields. So it all depends. You could want to do assessment of swimming pool within your facility. The best person to contact is a swimming pool expert. You draw up the assessment detail, give the swimming pool expert the detail, let him conduct the assessment, assign you his report, act on that report, assign cost, get that job done. Or you need to do an assessment on your power system. You need mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer to come and do assessment for you. So before you can carry out an assessment, what are those tools that you need? As bad, you need a measuring devices. It could be a minor manual tape, a digital tape, or an infrared measuring tape, a data capturing devices and data capturing sheets, a camera, and thank God for Android. Your Android phone can also serve as a camera. Then you need your safety equipment in place and any other equipment that you consider necessary to be used during the assessment. So the first step is you design the assessment. So it is not until when your team get to the site where the assessment will be carried out, they start asking you, what do we need to do? You ought to have sat down, design the format, what are those things you need your team to assess for you? You are assigning Mr. Michael to assess the pavement or the walkway. Part, you can design an assessment and say, okay, check for broken interlocking, check for broken pavement, check for water loss in the walkway, check for grass in the walkway. Make a list of portions that are not having interlocking within the walkway. Is the pavement on the walkway painted with the necessary safety sign color? What is the length of the total walkway? What is the width of the total walkway? So Mr. Michael knows that once he gets to site, he needs to start looking for all these figures. So when he sends you the report, you can use that report to assign cost and determine how much it will cost you to get that walkway to your required standard. You design the assessment, Then mobilize the team. Plan the inspection. You can't ask your team to go and inspect a roof around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Both the interior and the exterior of the roof is already what? Temperature intensified at that time. So assessment cannot be conducted at that time. So you need to determine when best to conduct the assessment. Then once you have done that, team get to site, perform the assessment, conduct the inspection, gather your data, and prepare your report and summarize everything. Then the other way you can use, other format of assessment could be, you can use survey, you can do interview, you can do survey questionnaires, send questionnaire to occupants, and let them give you their response. You can work on their response then. After you have summarized this and you have assigned cost to each of the items, then you can now present these to management. Presenting this to management means you need to get management approval in getting this done. Then, if you are to manage a facility on behalf of a property owner, you need to present all what are your findings after you have conducted your assessment to the property owner and let him know how much it's going to cost. So let the property owner now decide either you to get that done and take over the facility from there, or he gets those things done by his own team of engineers before you take over the facility. But by and large, this needs to be assessed, put in place before you take over the facility. Then, going by the analog digital means of assessing a facility, the other thing you can do digitally to assess a facility for assessment is use of drone. Your drone can help you to assess hard to reach area, like you have a 20-story building. Getting to the rooftop will be a challenge. With your drone, you can take pictures. With your drone, you can take measurements and every other thing that needed to be done. Then twin modeling. Twin modeling is a digital twin modeling is a virtual replica of physical asset or system. It's just like you are duplicating your asset. You are creating a twin of that particular asset. So you have a property in far Maiduguri. You can create a twin of that facility on your phone. There are software for that. So every activity going on within that facility over there in terms of structural integrity, in terms of roof leakages, in terms of all those stuff can be monitored on a real-time scenario at the palm of your hand. Then your Internet of Things sensors, that is IoT sensors. The IoT sensors can continuously monitor and collect data on different parameters of your facility asset, like vibration, temperature, humidity. There are all these sensors that can detect when there is what leakages. And what does it do? How do you get it done? These are all predictive technology tools that you can put in your facility. You have already know what should be the pressure in your plumbing network. Once there is a pressure drop, you know there is a leakage somewhere. Then there are all these sensors that you can put on your power system that monitor your current per phase, the current on the yellow phase, current on the blue phase, current on the red phase, and it tells you when any of these phases are being overloaded. And when they are being overloaded, you can take a proactive approach in order to reduce the load of that particular line. If you need that load of that particular line, that means you have removed what can lead to fire incident. You have also removed what can lead to that cable getting burnt. Then your CMMS software. Once you have conducted your assessment, you can develop your asset register from your assessment, and with this, you can impute your asset into your computerized maintenance management system. And this helps you to determine your maintenance activity. CMMS software means seamless integrating inspection data collected from drones, from digital twins, or from your Internet of Things sensor into your maintenance management system. So every information you pull from your manual assessment or your digital assessment, you pull them into your software, your CMS software, and this helps you to determine when you needed to carry out maintenance activity as far as that asset is concerned. So what are the levels of carrying out a facility condition assessment? Let me use a domestic example to explain this so that we can all understand it very well. For instance, I need to buy a Nigerian used Toyota Camry. I need to buy a Nigerian used Toyota Camry. And after, I have three options. The first option is on my way coming from Ireland. When I got to Aranda Yaba, I saw this Toyota Camry, and I picked up the phone number of the seller, and I asked about the price. We discussed on the price, and I made payment. Then the second option is that I stop where they park the vehicle, I walk around the vehicle, I call the seller, we discuss, we negotiate, and I make payment. Then the third option is I assess the car in terms of I start the car engine, check the interior of the car, drive the car for its distance, for its starting distance, and come back. Among the three, you all going to agree with me that the third option is the best option, the best method of assessment. And that is what is referred to as crawl-through. We have three levels of assessment. We have drive-by assessment, which is like drive-by. I ask for the price and I get paid. I get the money paid. The second option is drive-through, and the third one is crawl-through. Now, the drive-by assessment, the three of them are actually okay, but each of them has their own advantage and their own disadvantage. The drive-by is not giving room to detail. So it's saying the entire facility in a system-wise manner. It's a high-level review that focuses primarily on the system level with less detail applied to the condition of individual assets within that facility. But it is also a method of collecting assessment data. Then the walkthrough is another means. It's just like a middle scale of assessment, which include site assessment and gathering of empirical data. Then the walkthrough is more or less like the premium of an assessment. It is a rigorous assessment of the asset that is carried out as a component level assessment or bottom-up assessment in order to gather empirical formula data. You break every component, everything within that facility into component-wise, and you do a thorough assessment of each of the components. For instance, we need to assess our office. You pick the table. What is the length of the table? What is the breadth of the table? Is it a wooden table? Is it a ceramic table? Is it an iron table? Is it a combination of wood and glass? Or is it a MGF board table? Is it a formatter type of table? Then, is the table standing on a stud or on a caster? Does the table have a drawer? Or is a table that doesn't have a drawer? These are all assessments we can carry out on the table as a component of a facility, and we assign cost to how to get it done. The crawl-through assessment gives detail to information, and you can easily deduce and collate actionable data. But the only disadvantage of crawl-through is it is very, very expensive. And it is time consuming because you have to take every component for assessment one at a time, but may not be necessary for all assets. That is just the only disadvantage of it. Then facility performance evaluation. We have condition assessment, we have performance evaluation. The performance evaluation is just like you have a staff that is working under you. Every year, you do what is called evaluation. You assess the staff, you evaluate the staff in order to decide if you are to promote the staff or you want to increase the staff salary. So your performance evaluation helps you to evaluate what is your current delivery. What do you need to do that you're actually not doing? How can you improve in terms of your deliverable? And part of performance evaluation is like when you are getting a feedback from the end user of your facility. When you are getting a feedback, if you happen to be a facility manager in an estate, when you are getting a feedback from occupants of the block of flats, is like they are measuring performance. If you happen to be a facility manager in all these production environments, the volume of products you produce per day and feedback from customer, feedback from production manager, feedback from marketers in that company help you to decide how you are performing in terms of making that asset available for you to produce a product. So what is facility performance evaluation? It is an extension of what has been called post-occupancy evaluation. For instance, you need to take a 3-bedroom flat in 1004 estate. You are going to do what is called condition assessment before you move in. After you move in, the only kind of assessment you'll be doing is what is called post-occupancy evaluation, which is performance evaluation. The performance evaluation in terms of, are you enjoying, are you getting value for the money you are paying for common area charges? Are you getting money for what you are paying for administrative charges? Are you getting money for what you are paying for water availability? Are you getting value for power availability? Is the asset security effective? Because these are part of what you paid as administrative charges or common area charges or what is referred to as these are all costs. So performance evaluation is a continuous process of systematically evaluating the performance or effectiveness of one or more aspects of the building in relation to the issues such as accessibility, aesthetic looking of the building, cost effectiveness of their facility, functionality of assets within the facility, how productive are the facilities, safety, how safe is that estate, how safe is that mall, how safe is that facility, how safe is that production environment, then how sustainable is the asset. This is what condition performance evaluation can do for you. And this can also help you to improve in terms of your performance as a facility manager as well. Because feedback from the end user, from your facility occupants can help you to determine area where you are lagging behind. And most of the time, these people can actually be the one writing an appraisals. It will also help you to understand the impact of early design delivery vision on long-term efficiency, effectiveness of the building, and also to better understand the impact of building delivery, process, and decision on customer response, both initial and over the life cycle of the building. It extends beyond physical assessment and includes consideration of obsolescence and other such as qualitative factors. What you're actually looking at is just not only assessment. You want to know how the end user are, if the end user are actually enjoying in terms of your deliverable, in terms of your service to them. So why are they paying service charge and they are not getting value for money? Because the service charge includes availability, will not be included in service charge. Your service charge including paying of the building, maintenance of all necessary maintenance activities. So your evaluation will let you know if your tenant are actually maximizing money.
We can't hear you, sir.
Hello?
We can't hear you.
Yes, please, can you check his network, please?
What about now?
It's better now.
Okay. At what point can we not hear me so that there's need for me to go back? So can we continue from here?
Yes, we can continue.
Okay, sir. So when you want to do your performance evaluation, during the applying phase, you need to design a format consisting the area you want to actually evaluate. Somebody mic is on. Mr. Peter, I'm going to mute you, please. Your mic is on. You can hear me. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. What exactly do you want to evaluate? Do you want to evaluate your security system within the facility or within the estate or within the production environment? Do you want to evaluate your deliverables in terms of common area availability? Do you want to evaluate your performance in terms of recreation facility availability? So when you determine what you actually want to evaluate, you design a format for that assessment. Then, when you get the report from the assessors, how and what exactly are you going to do with the report? Because don't forget, you could make it as part of that design that they can provide recommendations. What do you want to do with that recommendation? And please, before you conduct evaluation, ensure that you are actually going to do something about the report of the evaluation. If nothing is going to be done, don't even conduct that evaluation, because at times you do evaluation, and at the end of the day, or most of the time when you do questionnaire evaluation, you send questionnaire to tenant, and they fill the questionnaire and send back to you. At the end of the day, you take nothing, you didn't take any step. When you send any questionnaire to them next time, they will not even look at it at all. So you monitor and review the outcome of that evaluation. Outcomes are important because they may be used as a feedback to modify or to improve in the next cycle of performance evaluation process. Then benefit your evaluation help you to, in terms of short term, medium term, and long term. Short is related to immediate design decision, facility maintenance and management issue. Medium are something that is between 3 to 5 years period, which are related to generating useful information for future projects. Because, for instance, you have an estate that built by your facility management company. You are the one that built the estate. You are the one maintaining it. You are the one managing that estate. You can conduct a performance evaluation that you will use to improve, so as not to make the same mistake, so as not to commit the same errors, so as not to repeat the same design error that have been carried out in the current estate. These are part of what you start to gain when you conduct a performance evaluation. The long term, which could be 10 to 25 years period benefit, and these are related to improving the long-term performance of the building and to justify major expenditure. So, but most of the time, there are always difficulties involved in establishing clear link, because when you do this performance evaluation, what the end users, what the tenants actually want, might not be what you have the financial capacity to provide as at that time. Tenants could want all the entire building to be repainted. And you, as a facility management company, you don't have the financial capacity to do that at that period in time. And this is where a good relationship rapport between you and your tenants comes in place. There is a mature way, there is a a professional way of communicating back to the world, to the end user, that we have listened to your request, but want you to know that we're going to look into this in the shorter distance. We have already planned to make this as part of our budget for the next calendar year in 2026. Please kindly bear with us. So you need to use your professional experts in order to bring a clear, cordial relationship between the end user and you, when you know that you don't have the financial capacity to meet up with their requests at that time. Then user assessment, positive outcome, then the physical environment. The relationship between facility design and performance evaluation is complex and the word fusing, because the design and the physical, building is a two-story building, and the assessment that it is very hard.
The audio is cracking, sir. The audio is cracking, sir.
There might be need or to install a lift.
The audio is cracking. We can't hear you, sir.
Installation of lift.
Sir, please, your audio is cracking.
There are a lot of
Hello, sir, can you hear me?
And this might need you to alter a lot of things within the building envelope, which might not be tenable. This is where your professional expert comes in order to what? Get the end user, know the reason why that might not be possible. And that's why they said the relationship between facility design and performance evaluation is complex and could be very fuzzy at times. So how can you conduct a successful performance evaluation? Develop a clear statement about what the organization wants to achieve. The link between evaluation and stated requirements have to be explicit and easy to trace. It has to be explicit, and you need to make use of that evaluation. Identify the resources available to carry out the FPE. Match data collection analysis to available time and budget. Determine appropriate methodology in doing your evaluation. Your evaluation could be going to each of the tenants to interview them, or sending a mail. You are the one that will determine which method you want to use. Inform respondents, most especially when you want to use questionnaire as a means of generating feedback. Inform the respondents or occupants about the purpose of their involvement and how the data will be used. Let them know that whatever the information they provide will help you in order to improve in your service for them. So every occupant wants to know what is time to gain when you are doing your performance evaluation. Establish performance goals based on existing as well as changing trends. Interpret and synthesize FPE findings in useful way for the likely user. Make results available for action by different group of stakeholders. There are some facility or estates whereby the tenants have chairman of estate occupants, so executives. So when you do your performance evaluation, you can send the report of the evaluation to the executive. So the executive have a means of communicating to other occupants within that facility. Then suggest ways to consolidate performance evaluation results and lesson learned as organization memory. So whatever you gain from that evaluation, you need to incorporate it in other facilities that you have as gain. Then develop an effective method to disseminate the consolidated work data. Then a record of past projects may serve as a good justification for future performance evaluation. So what are the benefits of evaluating a building system? One, a feedback loop to enhance continuous improvement process, improve fit between occupants and the building, the optimization of service to suit occupants, then reduction of waste of space and energy, validation of occupants' real needs. It also reduces ownership operational expenses and also improve competitive advantage in the marketplace, because when you do this evaluation, you are able to compare yourself, do a kind of benchmarking with other players in the market as well. Then what are the barriers? What are the challenges you may encounter when you are conducting your performance evaluation? Fragmented incentive and benefit within the procurement and operation processes. You may not have the financial capacity to give people money or give people who are going to do the evaluation for you. And at times, evaluation could require you to get a third party to come and conduct that for you. And you may not have that financial capacity to get that done. Lack of agreed and reliable indicator. Occupants are asking for different things, and what you have at your disposal is different from what they are requesting for. So there might not be an agreed reliable indicator. Potential liability for owners. What they are actually asking for is more like a liability for you at that period in time. You don't have the budget of procuring a brand new generator, and they are asking you to replace the generator within the estate, and the power that they are having erratic power. So it could be a liability for you at that period in time. Then exclusion for current deliverable expectation and inclusion from potential professional curriculum. Now, what the profession say might not be what they are actually requesting for. And these are all the challenges you face. And most of the time, there is generally no money set aside for FE. Sometimes FE may require a considerable amount of time. Organization may not always have people with necessary skill to conduct performance evaluation. And professionals often do not like to have their work judged by other professionals. This is one of the challenges of we professionals. You don't appreciate any other professional coming to your facility to come and pinpoint your mistake. And most of the time, when you have somebody who can do that in a constructive way for you, it's always very, very good. But at times, you don't like somebody coming around telling you that this work is not good. So this is an example of a crawl-through facility condition assessment. This is looking at the asset in form of component-wise. You can see the first component here is accounting office. What is the category of the asset? Electrical system. What is the description of the asset? Ceiling mounted fitting. What is the condition of that asset? It is fair. And what is the description of the defect? Broken fitting cover. There is the condition a major issue or a minor related issue. If you look at it, it is a minor. Then what is the recommendation? The recommendation says replace fittings cover. Then you can design your own and include another column here. And in that column, you can now include cost. Next to it, you can include status. Status saying if it is done, you make it green. If it is pending, you make it maybe orange. If it has been delayed for a certain period of time, you can make it red. There is no any standard format for performance condition assessment. You can design your own based on the asset at your disposal, based on the information you want to pull out from the assessment. Then the other one is looking at the facility in a system-wise manner. This is an example of a walkthrough assessment. It's looking at the entire building in a system-wise manner. You can see here you have electrical system, you have security safety system, you have mechanical system, you have power system, you have building fabric system, and you have other systems. But compared to crawl through, it is a comprehensive approach and looking at each of the components within the building one at a go, not in form of a system. And this brings us to the end of this module, facility condition assessment. Then we still have like 20 minutes for question and answers. So just like what we did during the last class, if you have any question to ask, please kindly raise up your hand, then I'll call on you to bring up your question. Mr. Peter, please go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Engineer Akola. Thank you for the powerful section. So my first question is on facility performance evaluation.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I want to know in the facility management performance evaluation, is it the same as building integrity test? Because in civil work, there are something also that also call integrity test on the building. So I want some explanation details on that.
Okay. Now let me answer your question. The first thing is that your building integrity test is part of what you do when you are doing your condition assessment. It's different from performance evaluation. Performance evaluation is like you are measuring your deliverables. What are those your deliverables? Availability of security, availability of water, availability of gas, availability of power, availability of recreation amenities. These are all your deliverables. These are part of what you use to market your estate so that you can gain occupants into that estate. These are part of what you use to determine your rent, the cost of your rent in your facility. These are part of what you use to sell your property. So that is different from condition assessment. Your building integrity is part of facility condition assessment, because why you do building integrity is that you want to see if that building can take up some other. You can go from one a story building to two-story building, or you can erect a 1,000-liter water tank on the roof of that building. These are part of the reason why you do building integrity tests.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. So, Mr. Lee, please go ahead with your question. Yeah, Mr. Lee.
Okay, good evening, sir. Mr. Engineer Akiola. Well done, sir. This has been interesting. Yes. I just a takeaway that I just want to lay emphasis.
Okay, sir.
I'll be talking about the facility condition assessment. Then I can pinpoint that this facility condition index, it is a very good tool that being useful for every facility manager to quantify the condition of the physical facility by giving us formula. It is very, very, and in the formula, you made us to understand that if we fall to between 2 to 5, it is good. If it is between 10 above, it's poor. That's when it's above 10 is 4. But when it's above 40, it's critical. And I think it's a tool that we as a facility manager or intending facility manager to make use of. I think this is one of my takeaway. Secondly, I penciled this question down, but then you have already answered it. I wanted to say that, can we have the template for this facility performance evaluation, which you have already displayed?
You are going to have a template. You have a template, just like us with Barakat.
That is it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Linka. That is a very good tip. Gerard, please go ahead with your question.
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Gerard, go ahead with your question.
All right. Mine is whether a contribution or a question. I'd like to compare the facility condition assessment to where I'm working. All right. Okay, I work with a machinery, a couple of machinery in the process plant. And I want to
what are those machines?
So I want to liken my facilities to be my machinery that I'm in charge of. So is a facility condition assessment likened to a condition monitoring of these equipment? That's where my question is going to.
When you do facility condition assessment, it is from your condition assessment that you can determine what are the maintenance activities you are going to put in place for those assets to be available at when they get to be.
Okay.
That will help you to factor out if you are to use preventive maintenance, if you are to use predictive maintenance, if you are to use proactive maintenance, or you are to use condition-based maintenance. For instance, you're just being employed as a facility manager in Dangote Cement. The first thing you needed to do, because you want to know the kind of asset, the type of asset, the usefulness of that asset that you are having within your portfolio. How is that asset supporting the goal and the vision of the entire organization? For instance, in Dangote Cement, the production line is a very, very key. This production line can produce like several numbers of bags of cement per day. This contributes to productivity. And availability of this production line determines, is part of your KPI as maintenance manager or as a facility manager. So when you do your condition assessment tells you that you have a pump that is already vibrating. You have a roller that is almost giving way. And you have a bearing that is already generating heat. So with this, first of all, you need to put all these things in good shape first. Putting them in the good shape, what are the condition monitoring devices you need to put to ensure that these things are always available as at when needed? So your performance, your condition assessment is the first stage. It is out of the condition assessment that you now determine what is the maintenance strategy you are going to put in place. Part of your maintenance strategy is your condition monitoring. Part of your maintenance strategies is your preventive maintenance. Part of your maintenance strategy is your predictive maintenance. Part of your strategic maintenance is your proactive maintenance, or you actually decided you want to do what we call a run to failure maintenance. It's a part of maintenance activity you can carry out. But this can only be done after you have done your assessment.
In other words, the condition monitoring comes under a condition assessment, a facility condition assessment that I must have done with the past.
Yes, you must have done your condition assessment before you can determine that, okay, I need to use condition monitoring. Because the type of the asset and how important the asset will determine the kind of condition monitoring you want to use. For instance, you have a pump and you know the economic value of this pump. This pump in your facility is what you use to transfer a fluid or gas into all the occupants within that estate. And you know that if this pump failed, the whole entire estate is in problem. When you come in as a facility, you don't know that they have this type of pump. But when you join as a new facility manager, after you have conducted your assessment and everything, you know that the system has this kind of pump in place that they are using. Then, because considering the economic importance of that pump in that estate, what can you do? What can you put in place to ensure that this pump is always available as at when needed? Do you want to have one standby, one duty, one standby, to refer to most of the time as alpha or beta, or operational and redundancy? Or do you want to have a condition monitoring devices on that pump? What type of condition monitoring do you want to have on that pump? Is it a temperature monitoring devices? Is it a fluid monitoring devices? But your assessment will determine what type of condition monitoring devices you want to put in place on that particular asset.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gerard. Yeah, Mr. Francis, please go ahead.
Yes, I want to use a layman step to ask my question. You have two equipments, right? One at the um, new age, meaning that you just bought the equipment like 1 year ago, and it has a lifespan of 5 years, right? And you have the other one that is already 4 years plus. What kind of assessment would you use for this kind of two equipment? Which are more preferable as the different description I just gave them?
Okay. Now, let's come back to this point. so that we can both understand the more reason why you do condition assessment. Let me show us here. Let's see. One of the reasons why you do facility condition assessment is this. Before you are taking over a third-party facility for maintenance, you have to conduct assessment. Why do you want to do that? Because you don't want to take liability. I am having facility management company, and you, Mr. Francis, called me to come and be maintaining your property on your behalf. The first thing that is expected of me as a professional is for me to come to your facility with my team and conduct a condition assessment of every asset you have within that facility. It could be an asset you just procured last year. It could be an asset that you procured like 10 years ago. It is from my assessment that I will now tell you, Mr. Francis, there is a certain pumping machine in your water treatment plant. From the assessment carried out, that pumping machine needed to be replaced with a new one because it cannot stand the test of time. Or I can tell you, Mr. Francis, there is a particular part of block A that the wall of that building had already cracked. If nothing is being done, that crack might cause that building to fall. Then two, you as an expert in building in real estate, there is an estate that is not making money, and one of your friends may mention to you that somebody wants to sell an estate, and you have the financial capacity. The first thing you do is send your team of experts into that estate, let them conduct assessment, integrity test of the building, take all assets within that building, and check everything one at a go. And they come up with their report. Their report will tell you the value you are going to place on that estate. The assessment will tell you what are the challenges you are going to face if you acquire that estate. Their assessment will tell you what are the return, how long it will take you before you can start getting back your money if you procure the estate. Then, one of the reasons why you do assessment is before you do a comprehensive renovation or a minor renovation within your estate, within your facility, within your production environment, you do assessment. Just like what Mr. Gerard said at that time. In a production environment, you can't just walk up to your MD and say, we needed to change a production line. Because a production line, it takes a lot of equipment and assets. And your MD wants to see the reason why you want to change that production line. You tell him, after the assessment we have carried out, these are findings. With data, with defendable information. That is true. When a capital turnaround renovation or upgrading needed to be done, you need to do assessment. Then, after a significant or major incident like fire incident, flood, or riot that lead to major property damage or strong storm, you have to conduct assessment. For instance, if you're working in a production environment like all these FCMG, all these like Nigerian Brewery, on a Tuesday, on a daily basis, you have a production target. And on a production line, where you have your bottle, you have the filler that fill the liquid into the bottle, you have the one that puts cover on those bottles. While the production is going on, the labor union strikes and they stop production. Don't forget that the filler has already put the liquid content inside the bottle, and this liquid content have shelf life. And because of the labor issue, production stop, nobody to operate the equipment. This liquid content, which are products that you need to set, recoup money from, will become something you need to discard. After they call off their strike, let's say the strike takes like 3 days after calling off their strike, The first thing you need to do is to conduct an assessment. What is the condition of all your production line? Don't forget, because of that strike alone, there are a lot of maintenance activity that's supposed to be done on all these lines that are not being carried out. Don't forget, lubrication has to be done. It is being delayed. There is a particular bearing that's supposed to have been replaced on that particular day when that strikes occur. It has not been done. Lots of maintenance activity are being put on hold. The first thing you need to do is that it's not after the call of the strike you just put on the plant. No, you have to conduct assessment to see if it is safe for production to continue or to commence. That is another part of when a riot that led to major property damage or storm occur. Then you have an information that there is going to be an armed robbery is going to take place within your estate. You have a security aid. The next thing you do is you conduct a security assessment to see if that is actually occur. Can your security system withstand it? If not, how do you do? What is the next thing to do? The security system you have in place, they are not using gun. Okay, you need to rent a mopo to cover the estate for that period in time. You need to rent soldiers to cover the estate within that period in time. These are areas where you need condition assessment. It is not only when your asset is becoming obsolete or when your asset is lean. When your asset is becoming obsolete, what you can use is facility condition index, which will tell you the amount of money you need to spend in repairing that particular pump that you've made an example of, and how much will it also cost you to replace that pump. What you needed to do is not condition assessment, is facility condition index. I hope that answer your question, Mr. Francis.
Yes, it does, but I want to argue a bit. I might just be arguing blindly, but I think the condition assessment.
Because from the argument you learn a lot of things, and others still learn from it.
I think the condition assessment gives back to the facility condition index.
Yes, of course.
Okay, I just don't understand that because if you do the assessment, then not facility.
Give back to condition index. You know, with condition index, that means either you are going to go for after replacement or you are going to go for renovation or upgrading.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one more question before we call it a day. Okay, Mr. Olusojo. Go ahead, sir. Mr. James. Mr. Olusojo, please unmute your speaker.
Engineer Kiola.
I can't hear you, sir.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me,
Or
sir?
you can drop your question in the chat column.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I just want to ask a quick question. In a scenario whereby you are being employed as a facility manager to a facility that has no drawing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Engineer Kiola, do you hear him? Hello, sir. Are you hearing us?
Can you drop your question in the comment section?
Are you hearing me?
I cannot even hear you. But I wouldn't know, maybe others can hear you.
He is saying that if you are employed as a facility manager, new facility manager in an organization that have no drawing, that what do you do? I think that's the question he was asking. Hello, sir.
I'm waiting for your question, sir. Then while you are typing your question so that the class is not just boring, can I have one more person to answer? One more question before, so that we use that opportunity to wait for Mr. James' question. One more question before Mr. James come up with his question. I can see he's currently typing.
Hello, sir. Engineer Akiola. Engineer Akiola.
Okay, Mr. Adeyinka, go ahead.
Yes,
Let me have
sir.
a question, Mr. Adeyinka.
I just want to take this opportunity since nobody is online. Now, yes, are you hearing me, sir? Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, sir.
Yes. I said in our last lecture,
yes, sir,
when we talk about the assets register,
yes, sir,
from today's topic on, if you want to look
yes,
at that very well, that is,
yes,
when you are employed, when you come newly in any facility as a facility manager, then you must conduct facility condition assessment before asset register. That is what it means. If I can get the correlation very well, sir.
If you conduct your assessment, it's easier for you to itemize the list of assets that you have, and you can use that to develop your assets register.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. James, I got your question. You said, in a situation whereby you are being employed as a facility manager in a facility without a drawing, can you work without a drawing? Most facilities now do not have what we refer to as built drawing. And this is normally occur as a result of most times the contractor that actually commences the project was actually not the one that completed, based on maybe one or two financial issues between the contractor and the property owner. And then the second thing is that because of the fact that let me say majority of project manager doesn't know that they need to tie the cost of their street drawing to the financial cost of the contractor. Because like what we do in my former company is that when you do any project construction for us, your 15% retention is tied to when you submit the as-built drawing to us. If you don't submit the as-built drawing to us, we'll get, and the reason why we normally get this easier to do is for every project we do, we always have our own project supervisor to supervise the project. And when there are one or two alterations, our supervisor has already noted that. So when you don't give all this as-built drawing, we get the corrected drawing, those ones that our project supervisor make comments on, and send it to an architect to provide an as-built drawing from that, and send to us, and we pay the architect from your 15% retention. If your company is doing this, there's no how any of your project will not have an as-built drawing. But in a scenario whereby you don't have, you can get an architect. If your company would be willing to pay, you can get an architect to help you to design one. The architect will come around with a team of experts in MEP and other stuff to determine where it could likely be, where electrical cables could pass and everything. They can come up with a drawing for you. This drawing helps you in terms of maintenance activity in the nearest future, so that when there is a water leakage in block A, you don't go and start breaking wall in block C. So you know where your piping networks passes. you know where electrical cable passes. So when you want to break any wall, you know where exactly you need to go and where you need to avoid because of electrical cables and plumbing pipes. So if your facility doesn't have anyone and you have the financial capacity, get an architect to get that done for you. It helps you a lot in your maintenance activity. I want to answer your question, sir.
Thank you so much, Engineer Akinola. I'm okay.
Now I can hear your voice, Mr. James. It's better now.
Thank you so
So
much.
thank you everybody for today. We meet again on Monday where we'll be discussing water treatment and sewage treatment plan. So thank you everybody. And in case you still have any other question to ask, but not in relation with the assessment, if you still have any other question to ask, please drop it in the WhatsApp group. Then I will definitely attend to it. Thank you very much. Thank you for today. Enjoy your weekend and happy Valentine to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Happy Valentine's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.